I'm Yoko, and welcome to year 29 of GalaxyClan. Thank you for your patience with this new non-strict upload schedule, as it helped me not stress too hard. And thank you to all my Patreon supporters that are on screen. When I played this year, I was pretty brain foggy, and afterwards I thought, oh hey, I think this year was relatively chill. I mean, there was a couple things, but I think it's fine. Then I looked back at my gameplay with a better mind, and realized, oh, I was wrong. This year was extremely messy. And then the streams were messy as well. Also, my game's been a little glitchy, but it's fine, I'm working on it, and I have backups. But with that said, I have two animatic sections to show. They are two unrelated events, but blood warning for somewhere in here, and enjoy the animatic sections. Rowancaw entered the leader's den asking to speak to Fawnstar. Fawnstar sat up and told her to say what she wanted. Rowancaw mentioned with Rainbow Flare returning, Fawnstar should speak to StarClan to see who should be leader. This upset Fawnstar, who bristled that she was leader, and if StarClan didn't want that, then she wouldn't have been given 9 lives. Rowancaw bristled back that Fawnstar didn't even bother looking for Rainbow Flare, and without Rowancaw's actions, they still would be lost. Reminding Fawnstar that most of the lost cats are still out there somewhere, and angrily saying that Rainbow Flare would have done everything to find them instead of starting a war. Fawnstar growled, swiping hard at Rowancaw's face and yelling at her to watch her mouth because she knows nothing about being leader. Rowancaw countered with a swipe of her own, nicking Fawnstar's ear and yelling that Fawnstar is no leader she respects. At this, Bumblebuzz rushed into the den, hearing the fight, and tackled Rowancaw in support of Fawnstar, clawing at her back and yelling to respect her leader. Rowancaw twisted and scratched a bit at Bumblebuzz's leg, now panicked as she was outnumbered. The fight was broke up at Swansong coming in and sternly saying to stop with an authority to his voice that he rarely used. He told Rowancaw to go send one of the medicine cats here for Bumblebuzz and Fawnstar, while Rowancaw gets treated in the medicine cat den. And once gone, he turned to Fawnstar growling that she needs to grow up and listen to her clanmates instead of whatever happened here. When Swansong left, Fawnstar quietly thanked Bumblebuzz for his loyalty. On a much later moon, Red Noise found herself in the dark forest again to her dismay. She scrambled up a tree to hide and wait for potential rescue when she heard screeches in the distance. From the branches, she could see a battle. Recognizing Hornet Clan cats, including Maxstar and Adderstripe, as well as some Viper Clan cats, including the old Frecklestar against a young-looking cat. Ospreyclaw appeared, and when Red Noise asked what was happening, Ospreyclaw only said it was Viper Clan's business. She opened a dreamscape, leading Red Noise to Rainbow Flare, who hadn't noticed them yet. Red Noise's heart hurt as she watched them struggling and failing to use their powers. Going over to sit and telling Rainbow Flare it's okay, saying they were both old and it's okay to rest. The two friends having a moment of comfort together with no more words needed. So the first death of the year actually takes us to the unknown residence because Nook died at 126 moons old. She had been mostly seeming fine, status-wise, humming a tune and then meeting up with Crusted for the freak food and company. But then she was wondering where she would go after she dies, and the next moon she died. I did actually make a list of possible deaths and rolled what ended up happening. And Nook developed a type of illness that a cat would not be able to fix on their own, even if they did have the help of a medicine cat. She knew the end was coming, and she just accepted that. And while she was estranged from Nookholly and Hornet Clan, he did end up passing away after falling off a cliff. But on the same moon that she died, Nookholly and Turbo had a litter. It's sad how complicated Nook's family is, and I hope that she does okay in the unknown residence. Heading in the StarClan now, sadly Toad Freckle is here at 35 moons old, dying while still lost. She had dreamed of finding her way home, only to wake up still far away. She thought she spotted Swansong at one point, as well as Batpaw, but neither of them were actually them. She did meet up with Ibisfleck at least, having found each other. And I also rolled her death since the game gave us nothing, and she sadly got hit by a monster and Ibisfleck couldn't help her. She was hoping to reach StarClan as she faded, and at least she did. She was the only lost cat to die while lost this year, so there's that at least, but on that same note, she's the first actual lost cat to die while lost in GalaxyClan. Unfortunately, next in StarClan is Pipitpaw, who died at only 9 moons old. He was childish and quick-witted, and was a fun kit. He was eating grass, pretending to be prey, and then getting a badger ride from Wishkeeper. Though in the middle of playing with a stick, he sneezed so hard he fell over, something that was becoming a pattern, as it was realized that he had allergies. He was apprenticed to the very young Tiny Flame after a long discussion about goals and aspirations with him, while he was still a kit. Pipitpaw hoped to do something fun, anything but moss or tick duty. Unfortunately, he was too excited and ended up missing a mouse on his first day out. He also crashed through the forest, ruining clanmates' hunts a few times, and other cats were in charge after that to teach him hunting techniques, such as sushi and leopard spots on occasion. One moon he was feeling bad all day about stepping on a bug, which might have been a prank since Yucca Paw had been pranking him that moon. He was roused by the deputy for a tracking assessment one day and was jumping at shadows nervous that everything could be a predator, as things like dogs, foxes, wolves had been more active lately. He charged forward when he saw something cat-shaped in the shadows, sure that it was Tiny Flame, but that wasn't him, and Pipitpaw barely had time to yowl for help before the stranger pounced and killed him. I'll share who that was later, but after that, Fawnstar was sure that Hornet Clan killed her son. Pipitpaw's full name would have been Pipitfern. But next is the 13-moon-old newly named Sleekspark. He was insecure but clever and a formidable fighter. As a kit, he startled Lemon Kit to get back at him for something or other, and then was given to Hickory Frost. On his first day out, he stopped her and asked with a serious look if she could teach him advanced battle moves, confessing that he feared that GalaxyClan would be in danger and only he would be able to save them one day. Hickory Frost assured GalaxyClan stands together and he'd be fine, but he still asked to learn some moves anyway. He later was playfully making fun of Pipit Kit for not being an apprentice yet, and then used an eagle as a scout for his hunt with Hickory Frost. Though he seemed to do fine, he was sure he was going to fail an assessment at some point, probably overthinking. He also didn't believe Rennoise when she tried to explain a rumor about her was false. Then one moon, he stumbled upon a bush of red berries and ate a few, bringing some back to Scaleheart, who immediately had him swallow Yarrow, trying to get the death berries out of his system. He ended up poisoned and sadly developed red cough later, knowing that the end was near when he started hacking up blood. He couldn't find his mentor anywhere one moon, and I think she ran at that point feeling that she failed him. He was named for his wisdom, which, I mean, that is a choice after he made a bad mistake, okay, Fawnstar. And he still had some play to him when he took Yucca Paw's prey just because he was saving it. He was spending time by drawing symbols in the dirt, which Rainbow Flare made sure not to mess up. And on the moon he died, Ice Dash was talking to him, Crane Dapple was giving him advice, and Batpaw was getting some last advice from his brother. I feel really bad for Sleekspark. He never really got to see either of his parents again. But next is Bubbling Mark, who died in Moss Clan at 162 moons old. She did her best mediating at her old age, though at times she worried she may have made things worse. She's feeling sassy on a moon that she mediated a messy situation between Ashleap and Bubbling Mark's crush Rainmask. Bubbling Mark herself was also mediated with a few cats like Streakstar. She was cowering in her nest during a storm, wondering if her fur was unkempt, and found Mohair a bit annoying. When she caught Yellow Cough, she feared it was the end, but she did manage to look forward to some days while in recovery. Sadly, in the end, she was taken by the sickness. Now she's in StarClan for boys and her children, except for Rowancaw, who I'm sure she's proud of, even if she is a little worried right now. Heading back into the clan, Wishkeeper died on the last moon of the year at 116 moons old. He was found and brought back to clan on the first moon of the year at least, and Scaleheart was wondering what he was up to on a moon that he and Bumblebuzz were forced to turn away a wandering healer since new cats weren't allowed. He was telling a patrol ghost stories until a branch snapped, scaring him, Luckshine, and Sneezestuff surprisingly. Then he got an apprentice after not having one since way back when Luckshine was an apprentice. And this was yet another swimming trait one. He was lightening the mood when Rowancaw, Fawnstar, and Bumblebuzz got into that fight, giving Pipit Kid a badger ride to distract him. He also saw Granite Newt sitting next to a dog at some point, happy that he seemed to be doing better as a kitty pet. He had a playfully petty argument with Ice Dash over kitty pet food, as both of them had their time stuck with two legs. And then he ran into a young Hornet Clan medicine cat apprentice who asked to join the clan. But Wishkeeper carefully described the clan's hostility, leading to the kid deciding to change his mind. Wishkeeper was washed away by a flood during a solo patrol on the last moon of the year. Wishkeeper also knew a very big secret of his son Bumblebuzz, but kept quiet about it, being disappointed but believing it didn't make his son unredeemable. As for what it was, you'll see later. On to the last death of the year. Eelmask died at 35 moons old, staying pretty quiet and under the radar as he hunted with his sister, chatted with an injured cat while guarding camp, and practiced fighting with Lemonpaw. When alone, he was too busy thinking to get anything done, and thinking was something he sure did a lot of. He's a very observant cat, having noticed the tension that Minnow Spirit now carried and keeping an eye on those kits. Sushi said Eelmask always had interesting conversations, and Eelmask was also blunt when telling Bumblebuzz that he smelled weird one moon. Sushi said Eelmask always had interesting conversations, and Eelmask was also blunt when telling Bumblebuzz that he smelled weird one moon. He kept a close eye on Bumblebuzz, but Bumblebuzz also noticing Eelmask was watching him after a gathering, making sure that he went home. Crane Dapple also caught Eelmask staring at his clanmates, and Eelmask had suspicions Bumblebuzz might have killed Chestnut Wolf, which was incorrect, but he knew Bumblebuzz was suspicious at least. In fact, he caught Bumblebuzz in a situation that would have Fawnstar turn her anger towards him, but before he could report it, he was killed. And it wasn't by Bumblebuzz. Someone else was there on that day, and we'll unravel the rest of this as we get into the others. But for now, on to the living cats. Starting with the 78-moon-old Fawnstar and her mate, the now 93-moon-old Luckshine. I'm going to start with Luckshine as she has less to comment on. She had a tense patrol with Swansong where neither stepped up to teach after the Fawnstar Rowan-Con Bumblebuzz incident. Luckshine not being happy how Swansong was not on Fawnstar's side in that situation. She also isn't the happiest with Rowan-Con bickering over nest materials. Contrasting that, she had a great session training with Sneeztuff, finding it nice to have the space to focus and a good training partner to work on things with. Luckshine did seem to regret being rude though, asking her mate advice on a recent stupid action, not asking to be absolved. Fawnstar felt proud that Luckshine could confide in her. She was trying to set a good example for younger cats, and she got an apprentice. After Pipit-Paw died, Scaleheart caught Luckshine looking at the stars with wonder, and Fawnstar promised to protect Luckshine with her life. Now, as for Fawnstar, so on the first moon of the year, she called Moral Nudge a threat to the safety of the clan after finding out he had a sister who used to be a rogue. Oliver of J-Clan to be specific. Fawnstar would not listen to Moral Nudge's consistent efforts against Hornet Clan, and with his more recent focus on things other than fighting, Fawnstar was kind of mad, drawing blood in battle training and saying it was an accident. She was also a bit petty when she called one of his newborns ugly, though later in the year they did manage to have deeper conversations, understanding each other a little bit better. Fawnstar had some phantom tail pain, and then Rowan-Con challenged her, with Fawnstar getting an ear scar. She trusts Bumblebuzz more after he rushed in to help her, admiring his loyalty, and on the same moon, Fawnstar was debating war. And then an official war was started as Hornet Clan wanted revenge for an apprentice that Fawnstar hurt, as well as Laurel's death from last year. Fawnstar wanted to fight as she was stuck healing her ear. Some clanmates were upset at her lack of real effort in finding the lost cats, where she instead had instigated a war with Hornet Clan. She coldly told a wandering healer that they couldn't join, and eventually she listened to her clanmates that this was no time for war after Maxstar and Spinel surprisingly brought back some lost kits. Fawnstar called off the war and couldn't find the words to say as she looked down at her clanmates during the meeting. Immediately after this, though, Pipit-Paw was killed, and Fawnstar was ready for blood against Hornet Clan again, but her clanmates managed to convince her it might not have been them that killed Pipit-Paw, and she had promised to focus on the lost cats. She's protective of her remaining son, running panic to him to unbury him when he got trapped on patrol. Fawnstar was also worried that the clan trusted Cyndaquil of all cats more than her, and she's a bit messy and untrusting, but I hope she takes others' advice to heart. Fawnstar was planning to make her brother deputy after Swansong retired, but knowing this, Swansong gave her a lecture that she doesn't need a yes-man deputy, and declared that he would be retiring before she could get Sneeztuff an apprentice, sternly suggesting that she picks a deputy that would provide a different perspective on stuff. So, surprisingly, the now 98-moon-old Rowan-Con is deputy, being promoted in the middle of war while she was still recovering from her injuries. Sushi is here as well at 85 moons old, and Rowan-Con has taken matters into her own paws. After her son came back on his own, not being found by the clan, she went to Crusted asking the kitty pet for help, finding cats, which led to Rainbow Flare being found and brought back. Without even asking them, Rowan-Con then went to Fawnstar, leading to that confrontation. Here is where I remind you that Rainbow Flare was Rowan-Con's mentor, and she probably really missed them as leader, having respect and comfort. She's been trying to set a good example for younger cats, but sadly doesn't really get along with Sushi's previous litter. I'm going to try to fix that with mediation. She was surprised to be made deputy, but is doing her best. Sushi also made sure to catch her favorite prey, and she sadly looked at Sleekpaw when she told him he couldn't go on patrol with her while he was sick. She also doesn't seem to hold a grudge against Bumblebuzz, surprisingly, catching a rat with him and Riverpaw meowing triumphantly, until Daisy Billow brought the bad news that Pipit-Paw had been found dead. Something that Rowan-Con was blamed for. She was the deputy that assigned him that assessment, after all. She feels guilt, and at the end of the year, Rowan-Con actually ran into the new Hornet Clan deputy making a border check as well, taking the opportunity to attempt a friendly conversation, and it turning into a venting session with both deputies finally getting a chance to lift some of their stress and talk as equals despite everything. She showed respect, not really caring about his young age, and he appreciated it. Fawnstar, however, wasn't as happy. Now, as for Sushi, she was upset when Cliff Creek said she was wrong in an argument, and I swear Sushi uses mediators to just tell her who's right or wrong during an argument whenever she gets into anything. Later, having Ice Dash tell her that she was in the right when arguing with Fawnstar. She got stuck in a storm with Rowan-Con, and then the Hornet Clan War was disrupting her life, having not wanted to be at war when her children were still lost. She was helping Daisy Billow gather herbs after knowing Downy Pelt was interested in her, and she led a successful hunting patrol against some pika in the snow. She had been hiding a scrap of Toad Freckles' fur, which she clung to sadly when Ice Dash informed her that She saw Toadfreckle's spirit, meaning that she had passed away when she was lost. Sushi then got her first ever apprentice, and she didn't know how to answer certain questions. In the past, being friends of a kitty pet wouldn't necessarily be disloyal, but with how anti-outsider Fawnstar is, she couldn't really answer with confidence. At some point, Rowanka and Sushi were discussing kits excitedly, and I asked Patreon if, despite what I said, if I should turn their ability to have kits on one last time because of that status. And they said yes, so with that said, Rowanka is currently expecting, having just announced it after finding a trans girl named Orchid to be the donor. Look, the girls need some happiness with everything going on, especially since Rowanka's mother also passed away. I will give you the information that it is a smaller litter. Heading into the medicine cat den, Scaleheart is here 84 moons old, and she is not too happy with the fact that there are wandering healers that are willing to join the clan, but Fawnstar keeps telling us no outsiders. Despite the 11 cats that became apprentices this year, no one decided to be a medicine cat. She's been trying to keep Daisy Billow's spirits up, sending on a patrol and making jokes to make her be in a better mood. But Daisy Billow can be a bit snappy at times. Scaleheart found a little patch of flower bulbs and gave one to Batkit, and she had the urge to wander, possibly to help find the lost cats. She gave moss to ViperClan when asked, and she's been thinking about her life choices, asking Daisy Billow if she ponders mortality since Scaleheart has been thinking about it. Scaleheart panics seeing Sleekpaw's poisoning turn into Red Cough, making a mess of the herbs, and she feels guilty for not being able to save him despite doing her best by immediately feeding him yarrow. I'm sad that Eelmask was killed as well because she could really get him to loosen up, having convinced him to help prank this year. And Scaleheart is still crushing on Sneeze stuff, with Scaleheart not being able to help her smile when around him. I'm rooting for them and I'm happy they're taking it slow. As for Daisy Billow, she's 52 moons old and is now mates with the 39-moon-old Downy Pelt. But beyond that, Daisy Billow is kind of a mess. Minnow Spirit did manage to make her no longer upset with Tiny Paw, but she's been focused on work unhappy. She also claimed to give Hazelpaw the wrong herbs on accident once, and while she does dislike her, that honestly might have been an accident. Later, she took some time to hunt and got in trouble for not doing her duties, making her annoyed as she watched Hazel Mouse get preyed as she brought prey home. She also sulked for failing to catch Downy Pelt's favorite prey, but Downy Pelt just purred happy that she was back. She was also annoyed when Scaleheart brought up apprentices since no one was showing interest, and Daisy Billow was also petty when she was upset Scaleheart brought her least favorite prey. She had the status that she was refusing to groom herself 3 times this year, so she is very unkempt. She came back sore after not finding Lungwort with Downy Pelt and was blatantly refusing to treat Fawnstar's ear nick. Moral Nudge had a dream of a cat's last breath, which made her uneasy reporting it to Fawnstar without saying Moral Nudge was the one who had it. Kind of feeling guilty for getting Fawnstar mad at him in the first place because she was the one who overheard him talking about his past rogue sister and reported it. And I think Moral Nudge's vision might have been about Eelmask's future death, but I'm not 100% sure. She was also venting to him later. She's not all bad with the youth though, including Raccoon Paw in a conversation he struggled to join. A new kit complimenting something that she was self-conscious about, and getting some helpful advice from Lemon Paw. She was also impressed how quickly River Paw understood something complicated. Downy Pelt turned away a healer with Hickory Frost and snapped at some apprentices for some harmless pranks, being stressed since Rowanka was just hurt. She warned Sushi and Raccoon Whisker of a Deathberry bush, which might have been the one that Sleek Spark ate from later, and was a little annoyed when Sushi was doing the mom thing of hanging out for Crush to tease her. She prayed Toadfreckle was doing well in StarClan and got annoyed at the retired Swan Song for spending all day grooming. I know we barely have elders, but let the man rest. This is normal. She stepped on Sneeze Tuft's paw, pretending not to notice since she couldn't do it to Fawnstar, but later apologized for being rude. At the end of the year in a bright spot, Daisy Billow and Downy Pelt announced their commitment as mates. But then when Downy Pelt tried to bring up Daisy Billow looked tired, she snapped at her. I did notice that Downy Pelt is not in the green with her romantic like of Daisy Billow, and I hope Girl can chill out and not push away her new mate. It's brand new, so we'll see how this goes. She was also bonding more siblings, though she does not like Raccoon Whisker or Hazel Mouse much. She did gag at some stinky herbs of Hickory Frost and was yapping to Crane Dapple, who couldn't get a word in but didn't seem upset. Crane Dapple and Daisy Billow actually also bonded when they talked about how they had a lot of similar struggles with not quite knowing what they should do in life. Downy Pelt also had a race of sushi with her mom surprisingly winning. Side note, Daisy Billow likes Minnow Spirit and he likes her back, but let's focus on the current relationship. Moving on to our mediators, Ice Dash is here at 116 moons old. She was mediating Cliff Creek and Houndsnout on a moon that it seemed like Cyndaquil and all M's kits were possibly having family therapy. She was then chittering at birds and trees and attempted to mediate Fawnstar of Ren Noise and Moral Nudge after Fawnstar turned angry against him. After the challenge and before Swansong retired, she was relieved to break up another fight before it started when mediating Fawnstar and Rowanka, ultimately being another reason Fawnstar chose her as deputy. She briefly got a running nose, but was also shipping Daisy Billow and Downy Pelt while in the den. She discussed herb gathering disputes and mediated Fawnstar with Sushi as well, who is still mad at her over what happened. I swear Ice Dash has been basically babysitting Fawnstar, trying to soothe everything over and keep the peace. She also has faith in Riverpaw. Ice Dash is currently grieving Wishkeeper and is the last of her siblings alive now, sadly. But next we have a new couple, with the 81-moon-old Minnow Spirit and the 103-moon-old Sparrow Ice getting together later in the year, and being proud to announce it. Starting with Minnow Spirit, he helped Daisy Billow and Tiny Paw get along better, and then mediated Swan Song and Leopard Spots. He also possibly saw Granite Newt when he noticed a kitty pet sitting calmly next to a dog. He spoke out of turn at a meeting when he suggested trying to mediate with Hornet Clan, and was wondering how Lemon Paw was doing after he was injured. Worried about the kid as well as the litter in general. It seemed like it was a struggle raising his brother's litter. Minnow Spirit didn't sign up for this, and their relationships are a little strained on his end, as he tries to bond and be a parent while they were also angsty and wanting their real parents. He sighed at the mention of Bat Paw. Lemon Paw was telling an embarrassing story about him that he was asked not to, and so on. There is a complicated mix of like and dislike as they clash, but he tried his best. He's been feeling more frustrated with failed negotiations and doesn't understand why cats like Tiny Flame are so rude. He was frustrated with Crane Dapple but felt really bad when he heard her crying. And he was also complaining about something Bumblebuzz did and dispelled a rumor about Downy Pelt. As for his interactions with his new mate, he had a dream about her, and the only reason it seemed to take so long with them becoming mates was that he was just busy. As for her, she saw Two Legs near camp and was remembering why she left her old clan. That being most of her family was killed by rogues. She was also missing her parents later and was surprised when Raccoon Paw made a mistake on something simple, comforting him when he cried about never being ready to be a warrior by playing with him. She could never keep up with Minnow Spirit as he was busy, but went out of her way to catch his favorite prey. She watched as Moral Nudge treated a Hornet Clan apprentice with compassion, and later they were both bringing flowers to the same clanmate's grave, possibly Pivot Paw at the time. Then she saw a clanmate get kidnapped by Two Legs. That clanmate came back, don't worry. She apparently was just so popular in clan, but she actually has green cough right now, so really hoping she heals well. Minnow Spirit is also currently grieving Wishkeeper, so neither of them are really doing that well. She apparently said some rude things to Yucca Kit and backed up one of Bumblebuzz's claims in an argument, and felt a prickle of discomfort at the sight of fresh kill blood on one of Rennoise's kit's paws. Gonna be honest, I think when it comes to beliefs, these two are probably going to clash, but we'll see how they do as mates next year. On to the warriors. First up is the 112-moon-old Rennoise and her mate Moral Nudge, who is now 98 moons old. Rennoise announced kits on the very first moon of the year, and despite her protests and how she took pride in running patrols, she did begrudgingly agree to settle into the nursery early. Her clanmates making it clear that they could handle things. She hoped for a small litter, but she actually glitched my game and had 5 kittens when the age range should only be able to have 4 maximum for how old she is. She was a little overwhelmed staring off into space. Meanwhile, Moral Nudge was dealing with the fact that Fawnstar actively seemed to hate him and called him a fret, since his kin was once upon a time part of Hornet Clan, and he was currently more concerned with family. Rednoise was perplexed at Fawnstar's choice of deputy and hoped Rowancaw would do well. She's not the happiest with Fawnstar and is holding a major grudge, upset at how rude she is. And her son Riverpaw later tried to fight Rednoise, but luckily that went nowhere. She's told Daisy Billow she trusts her to give her the best treatment possible in an encouraging way, and she followed J-Clan's scent to a cat hiding from a dog in a tree, with her patrol able to chase it away. Then she got her daughter as an apprentice and chuckled guiding a lost Moss Clan cat home. As for Moral Nudge, he's been a little reckless after Fawnstar got mad at him trying to prove his skills. He avoided a monster by the skin of his teeth and was out hunting in a dangerous weather like thunderstorms. He was leaping from boulder to boulder, and he found a Hornet Clan apprentice at the border. And while they were aggressive and hostile, he was quick to de-escalate, and after a gentle conversation, the apprentice reluctantly apologized. He told Daisy Billow about his dream of a cat's last breath, and then 2 of his kids got out, and surprisingly, when they found them, Maxtar and Spinel were giving them back, asking to end the war, them having found the kits on territory that Hornet Clan claimed. With the kits present, Fawnstar held back her anger, but this honestly did not help her suspicions of Moral Nudge. He did end up getting his son as an apprentice, but on the first day out, Moral Nudge accidentally caught a rabbit on Viper Clan territory, getting caught, but he smoothed things over with Jagged Stripe, giving him the rabbit, but then he and his son were chased over the border by a dog, and a Viper Clan cat ended up getting killed. After the war, he had another civil conversation with Hornet Clan cats, willing to let them prove that they can actually be a clan, and he tried to give advice to his son about the other clans, but ended up getting talked over, feeling a little sad by how distant he seemed. As for that animatic with Rennoise, she poofed into the Dark Forest, and what she witnessed was actually how Hornet Clan and Viper Clan came to their truce. We'll get more into that in the other clan section, but Red Noise did not report any of that to Fawnstar. She really does not like Fawnstar right now, and Moral Nudge wasn't standing for slander against Bumblebuzz at the end of the year, so maybe keep that in mind. Moving on to Sneeze Stuff, he's 78 moons old and currently grieving Eel Mask, but earlier in the year, Song fetched him after Fawnstar's challenge since she was looking for him. It was there that Fawnstar told Sneeze Stuff that she planned to give him her son as an apprentice to make him deputy. But as mentioned, Song had other plans. His dad was worried Sneeze Stuff wasn't taking his health seriously though. Sneeze Stuff couldn't find anything appealing on the fresh kill pile as the War of Hornet Clan began and started disrupting his life, tidying up the burial grounds of Scaleheart as he hoped the war wouldn't take casualties. He was training with Luckshine, and then, as promised, he did still end up getting his nephew as an apprentice, doing his best as well as some fun stuff like watching goats buck heads. His tail was badly damaged by falling rocks, and then he hoped Orangeback would guide him, which that is a really old medicine cat that he never met, so either Sneezetough is pretty StarClan connected, or Chestnut Wolf had talked to Orangeback before and mentioned it. His tail did end up healing, and he protected Lemon Paw from something on patrol, but then his son was murdered! He could only spend a moment at Eelmask's vigil before he silently left, cursing the world and wailing into the sky, unable to believe StarClan's cruelty. He glared at the stars and didn't get enough sleep that night. He was also really surprised Fawnstar's life wasn't as easy as he thought it was, and I feel like he saw Fawnstar as like the golden child despite everything. I mean, she ended up leader and he didn't even get his first apprentice until this year. Next is 74 moon old Leopard Spots. Early in the year, she was still grieving a bit, not wanting to leave her nest, but she did end up moving on from Fickle Moth. She and Droplet Flow brought some lost J-Clan kits home, and she was sharpening her claws, also doubting Cyndaquil would be able to protect her if something went wrong, but I mean, Quill is getting old. She helped Daisy Billow collect Rosemary and tidy up the burial grounds, and was also briefly in Moss Clan acting as a surrogate for her sister Melkhair. You'll see those kits later. But Melkhair is a mom now. Fawnstar might have been a little salty when she was doing that, leaving in a time of war, since she bumped into her and didn't apologize. Bumblebuzz also felt this was a betrayal on Fickle Moth and had another disagreement with her about kits, and moving on. She's been trying to set good examples and help train Pippapaw hunting, getting a little annoyed at his sass during a lesson, but she was also giggling, thinking he reminded her of her apprentice days. After his death, she was glaring and taunting a Hornet Clan patrol with Hickory Frost under the impression that they killed him, but they appeared unfazed, with the patrol leader having confidence but not hostility. They calmly said not every random rogue or cat they might run into is part of their group, and our patrol left a little embarrassed at their lack of a reaction. She wanted to get to know Wishkeeper better and was sad when he died later. Despite Fawnstar being rude earlier, Fawnstar and Leopard Spots actually like each other. Luckshine likes Leopard Spots too, but as of now it's not romantic on Leopard Spots' end for Luckshine, but surprisingly, that could actually be a poly. The only real thing in the way is that they have a bit of dislike from Fawnstar being rude. Though with that being said, it seems Leopard Spots is in a casual relationship with Sharp Daisy of Moss Clan. It's currently open and not that serious, but we'll see where that goes. Next up is 64 moon old Bumblebuzz, and oh boy, Bumblebuzz! Okay, so first, he refused to let a wandering healer join, following Fawnstar's orders. Then he was eavesdropping on Scaleheart, and I think he's been eavesdropping a lot on cats, considering he rushed in immediately to prove his loyalty to Fawnstar, helping punish Rowancaw, gaining Fawnstar's trust, and surprisingly Rowancaw not really holding that against him, with them later watching fish together while he was in Fought. He was helping around camp when he was supposed to be healing, and did sneak out at times, so his leg actually ended up permanently weaker. Later, he was thinking about his life choices, and he knows he's not perfect, but he's trying hard and believes in his path. He was pretty happy when Pumpkin Glow complimented his fighting techniques, and earlier he had broke up a fight between clanmates with Luckshine, and basically he's doing his best to seem as a good clanmate because, bombshell time, he snuck out to see his Hornet Clan mate, and both of these cats are hypocrites! Bumblebuzz has been seeing Spinel and overcompensating with following rules and being strict. He was rude to kits knowing Spinel wanted them, but it was a very bad idea. But last year he was coming around to it and tried to bomb a tiny kit. I'm pretty sure Red Noise knows about this because last year she had been rethinking about what she thought about him and gave him another chance. On that note, Spinel hated Stoneshell and Bumblebuzz isn't a fan either. That's a cat that attacked Red Noise once. And remember how as a clan we had Laurel killed last year? Well, Spinel also didn't like Laurel, and Laurel specifically is who killed Bumblebuzz's brother. So that was set up in the background, and Bumblebuzz was the one who conveniently followed orders and killed him. Spinel and Bumblebuzz are hypocrites, but they both feel left out in their clans, and they never really got opportunities to shine. And with all that said, Spinel had a kit in Hornet Clan named Ghost Kit, bringing him to meet his dad when he was 3 moons old. We'll get to Ghostpaw and Hornet Clan sections of the video, but yeah, a couple cats found out about all of this, Wishkeeper being one of them, and while he was disappointed, he did meet his grand kit and kept it a secret. Another cat that found out was Eelmask, and then someone who wanted to protect Bumblebuzz impulse killed him. Bumblebuzz is a giant mess with all that kissing up to Fawnstar, and he still actually hasn't gotten an apprentice. He had given Riverkit a trinket and had mock battles, but Riverkit ended up going to Sneezetuft. Bumblebuzz is walking on eggshells as he's paranoid everything is about to collapse under him. But moving on, Pumpkinglow is back. He was lost for the majority of the year, seemingly being pretty far as he daydreamed about coming home and then getting even more lost. He thought he spotted Tiny Paw, but who knows, maybe it was just another relative of Cyndaquil. He asked groups of loners for help and was worried about surviving and was about to give up, until he eventually did find his way home, striding into camp to everyone's surprise. Unfortunately, by the time he got back, Sleekspark had already died to Redcough, and Pumpkinglow tried to bond with his sons as they sunned together, but they snapped at him irritably, upset that he took so long and missed so much. I think they need some time to cool down and they have a lot of emotions right now. Minnow Spirit did decide to pull Pumpkinglow aside and explain the whole situation with Wilbur, leaving it up to Pumpkinglow if he wanted to explain it to the kids. He hasn't, but he did officially move on from Wilbur after that, devastated that his old mate would do any of that. Moving on to Hickory Frost, she's 39 moons old and was determined to protect her loved ones, seeing a shooting star for Mom and knowing that she was missing her siblings. Despite this, when she saw the elderly Crocus Whisker on the edge of the border, accompanied by an apprentice with some prey, she decided, instead of fight, to sit down and have a conversation while they ate. Crocus Whisker apologized for attempting to steal her and her siblings, but also mentioned, if that should prevent them from forming a clan, then Hickory Frost should ask Viper Clan about their own actions, as Crocus Whisker had heard that they stole kits too. Fawnstar ended up catching them, injuring Curlpaw's tail as the Hornet Clan cats retreated, and she harshly yelled at Hickory Frost for talking to them. After this, Hickory Frost was rethinking her life choices and would vent to her outsider mate Rain. Rain would roll her eyes and say some clan cats seem stupid. Despite all this, Hickory Frost did get Sleekpaw and did her best training him battle moves. She reported some Hornet Clan scent in the territory, though the eventual war was disrupting her life. She hummed a tune she heard in Two Leg Place from her attempts to find her siblings and was defending a friend against a rumor, possibly leopard spots just based on who she's close to. After Pipitpaw's death, she challenged Hornet Clan on patrol, but eventually calmed down, truly believing that they hadn't done it. Sadly, her apprentice died, and she felt really guilty. Her mate then was thinking how she envied the strong kinship clan cats had, and despite her earlier thoughts, Hickory Frost ended the year by showing off in front of Fawnstar, leaping from crag to crag, standing her ground that she is a capable warrior, and Minnow Spirit also dispelled a rumor about her. Next is her sister Cranedapple, who had a great hunting session with Hickory Frost and Cyndaquil. Then she helped save a cat from a dog, but unfortunately they were hostile and it ended up with someone injured. Cranedapple then found sheep stuck in a crevice, happily getting meat and more wool for the nursery, with Rainbow Flare and Eelmask. She's been trying to be brave despite anxieties and stared at Toad Freckles' vigil where there was no body, longingly, not feeling right to join in. She showed off some good hunting knowledge to Fawnstar when she stopped her from pouncing a blue jay, knowing that more would show up, and she's been soothing and giving advice to Sleekspark at the moon that he died. Cranedapple doesn't really seem to enjoy Rowancaw, but I'm hoping mediation will help. She also isn't fond of Fawnstar and was quietly chatting with Moral-Nudge while on guard duty, and was charmed when one of his daughters said that she really admired her, later agreeing with his son over something the rest of the clan found contentious. When one of his kids went missing at the end of the year, she loitered at the J-Clan border looking for them and wondering if maybe they were visiting their kin. And on another note, Cranedapple has a new crush, and it's mutual, and I'm rooting for it, because her and the 35-moon-old Houndsnout are crushing on each other. But as for Houndsnout's year, Ospreyclaw actually visited her, sending the message that Houndsnout is her own cat and she shouldn't feel bad about not having control over her dream powers, and shouldn't stress over it. With Houndsnout later engaging Tiny Paw in stories about it while talking on the moon that the family all seemed to be having therapy. She was wondering if Sparrow Dance was doing well in Viper Clan and was excited when Rainbow Flare returned, immediately doing some training with them. She still thinks about Star Clan in her place, often being sleepy and slipping into her nest, but she was allowing kids to play with her tail and keeping the code in mind, making sure no one was shirking work. Then she crawled into a metal box and got kidnapped while Sparrow Ice could do nothing to help. Luckily, she wasn't gone too long and she didn't end up fixed, but that was concerning. Can this family stop getting kidnapped? Once back, she was wondering if StarClan is still watching over lost cats, and on the moon that Eelmask died, she didn't get a lot of sleep as she attempted to investigate dreams with her very limited control. She did accidentally find out about Hickory Frost's outsider mate during some dream hopping, and while she hasn't said anything, she is dying to, with Hickory Frost feeling her staring at her from behind at some point. Also, apparently Fawnstar felt she was too harsh in her judgment of Houndsnout, so while that's good, I am a little concerned if Fawnstar had said something rude in the past regarding her powers and not being that useful. Moving on, Droplet Flow is 35 moons old now, and she was helping groom Cyndaquil after M got some burrs in M's pelt. After catching more than enough, she ate some prey on patrol, and then she got an apprentice. She did her best, but was feeling horrible after she went to help a cat, only for them to swipe at her apprentice. She gave some advice to Red Noise and helped one of the kids who stumbled, though she's not that fond of her, possibly because of the current Fawnstar and Red Noise hostility. She also thought Hickory Frost wasn't very considerate of others, and was creeped out slightly as her Aunt Spirit Eyes stared off into the distance. She passed the currently claimed Hornet Clan border to catch a rabbit, but accidentally tripped up into the border, with a Hornet Clan cat watching, knowing exactly what she was doing. She felt embarrassed that the other cat didn't even attack her. She briefly got white cough and yellow cough, but she's been doing her best beyond that. She's so upset at Ilmas's death and is clinging to Sneeze Stuff knowing that he's really struggling. She's lost her mom and both siblings. She's not really doing the best. But moving on to the newly named 22-moon-old Hazel Mouse, she is loyal and a formidable fighter. As mentioned, Moral Nudge helped finish up her training, and they even went out looking at constellations. She started the year by falling off a cliff and breaking her leg, being pouty as she had wanted to be on patrol. While injured, she was named for her enterprise and couldn't keep up with Sushi. Later in the year, she heard her mom of a prank, but didn't really seem to believe Sushi was that upset by it. Her wound did briefly get infected, and she spent some time chatting with Eelmask and Droplet Foe who were guarding camp. But it did heal, and there was no permanent damage. She was also catching extra prey for Leaf Bear, and managed to rally Red Noise and Houndstooth to drive a dog away, helping a J-Clan cat, being rewarded with an apprentice. She was a bit in denial of Sleekpaw's condition, saying that he still needed to work on his stalking techniques, for when he was better and out there hunting, obviously. And she was actually envious when her apprentice started mentioning a StarClan dream, being a bit upset as she hasn't been seeing her dream friend lately, and while she isn't verbally complaining to her face, she was upset enough visually for the apprentice to backtrack. Also, side note, she really did not get along with Cliff Creek, but luckily the troublesome newly named Raccoon Whisker came back. With his family had tried to find him, there was no luck, but they were so happy and surprised when he strode into camp by himself, immediately getting some dried leaves in his fur and playing a playful prank on Yucca Kit. As time passed, he got a little self-conscious about how behind he was, wondering if Droplet Flow was a good apprentice, and running away from his mentor Spirit Eyes, crying that he'll never be a warrior, though she did cheer him up. He had this little breakdown on the same moon that his mom Rowancaw had been hurt, so he had a lot on his mind. He was eventually named at 15 moons old and honored for his flexibility, humming stuff that he heard in Two Leg Place as he leaped into fallen leaves. He did hunt alone on a stormy day, but luckily the rain never came. And he had a dream that seemed to be implying Hornet Clan should be accepted as a true clan, and was wondering if it was from StarClan at the end of the year. He wanted to work hard to impress his big sister Hickory Frost, who he actually doesn't really like that much and is a bit jealous of, but he also seems to respect Sparrow Ice, being unwilling to back down when defending her on something. Moving on to the 20-moon-old, newly named Tiny Flame. Oops, he ended up bloodthirsty, but he's also a camp keeper. Minnow Spirit helped mediate him and Daisy Below, and while he was still a little mad, she likes him now. He was also in awe of Ice Sash's conflict resolution skills as he watched her help Cliff Creek and Houndsnout. He went out of his way to make Rainbow Flare's day better and didn't have enough toe beans to count all his friends, which is adorable. He was roused by Swan Song to find Moral Nudge on the territory for an assessment that he knew he wasn't ready for, feeling like a failure when he couldn't find him. Also being annoyed when he saw Moral Nudge's whiskers twitching in amusement back at camp. Moral Nudge simply thought that it was silly how seriously the kid took this, knowing that he had plenty of time to prove himself. Tiny Paw sulked at a missed catch and was wondering what the inside of a two-leg den was like after hearing most of his family had been in one. He was named at 13 moons old, honored for his skill, and then the very next moon, Fawnstar gave him her son as an apprentice, surprisingly. It seems she likes Tiny Flame's attitude and drive, but he sulked when his apprentice missed a catch, knowing that if Pipitpaw was going to properly learn hunting, he would have to get help. So Tiny Flame reached out to cats like Sushi. He was feeling underappreciated and then got some bruises from his wobbly condition on a moon that he panicked seeing a big dog. He was worried one of Red Noise's kids was overworking, and then Pipitpaw was sent to do the same assessment that Tiny Flame had failed before, only to end up killed by a stranger. Tiny Flame thought that cat's scent was familiar and worked himself up so much over it that he ended up getting green cough. He did later find out what scent that was, though. Tiny Flame currently has a sprain from his condition, and he always challenges Red Noise, but apparently in a friendly way as it has a positive effect, and despite Fawnstar's interest in him, he respects that family and also includes Moral Nudge in conversations he struggled to join in. Moving on to 15-moon-old shameless newly named Yucca Leaf, who is a fish-like swimmer. As a kid, he had more energy than he knew what to do with, and started as a lonesome apprentice when he was given to Wishkeeper, still being down with the fact that Pumpkin Glow was gone, and he didn't know why Wilbur and Minnow Spirit had told him not to say that they knew where she was. On his first patrol, they found Moss Clan scent, but ended up walking in circles trying to find the trespasser, with Wishkeeper eventually having them return to report it. He almost got hit by a monster, but came to a halt luckily, But on that same moon, he was in the medicine cat den for a small injury, so I'm wondering if it was just some sharp rocks that hit him, or maybe it was just shock. Then he missed a catch and was sulking. He was not really having a good time. He told Wishkeeper about this dream that he had that seemed prophetic from StarClan, but his mentor couldn't really make sense of it, and then he pranked Pipitpaw. He did too much at once, asking Tiny Flame for help, and then took a nap away from everyone on the territory. He did meet Bumblebuzz and Spinel's Kit, as that was the Hornet Clan apprentice that Wishkeeper convinced joining our clan would be a bad idea, so he sure knows a lot of stuff. He was named and honored for his intensity at 13 moons old, and then had a civil border patrol of Hornet Clan. He also seemed to be concerned about Red Noise's Kit's not entertaining rumors and telling one that he was worried about her. He caught the elderly swan song when he tripped, and he and his siblings have complicated feelings with Pumpkin Glow, understanding their dad did their best to come back, but still feeling bitter about him not being there for them when they needed him. Yucca Leaf in particular wants to know why Wilbur gave him the Minnow Spirit and didn't return, but Minnow Spirit told him that he would have to ask his dad if he got the chance and to stay quiet for now. And Yucca Leaf hasn't worked up asking Pumpkin Glow yet. I will say at least Wishkeeper seemed to help him be less angsty considering he was lonesome and then turned shameless. But that does hurt as his former mentor has passed away. His brother is the adventurous newly named Bat Pounce, who is a great mediator and a good kit sitter. He got some flower bulbs from Scaleheart as a kit and was refusing to take naps. He was a strange apprentice, and in an attempt to feel closer to his dad, he asked Minnow Spirit who trained Pumpkin Glow, requesting Cyndaquil to be his mentor after finding out that Quill did. He caught a bird on his first day out and was tearing up prey. He had to leave a kitty pet behind and then didn't get enough sleep. He bounced back, having quite the adventure though, when he leapt onto boulders to gawk at Bucks, encouraging Cyndaquil to come join him. He was wondering if Luckshine was a good apprentice, and then had a kit engaged in a tall tale. Swansong had commented that he was talented for his age, and Cyndaquil did great training him, but they really took their time. He did go on night hunting, but on the moon that Sleek Spark died, Batpaw was the only sibling who hadn't been named yet, and was asking his brother for advice, trying to cling to him while he was still here. He was then named honoring his versatility. He was also thinking if it was too late to become a mediator, possibly inspired by some advice that Cliff Creek had given him when he was younger. Last of the brothers is Strict Lemon Fox, who is incredibly clever. As a kid, he corrected Cliff Creek on something minor, and then was apprenticed to Droplet Flow. He heard a thump behind him on his first patrol, and then turned to see a huge beak that was far too close to him, causing him to leap backwards and trip over his paws. But he was confused as the bird did the same thing, flopping over. Droplet Flow just grumbled that it wasn't broken, Kia, or just like that. Then they heard a cat being chased by a dog, so while the adults were after the dog, he went up friendly to the cat who was still in fight mode, where she straight up sliced him across the face and ran away. And that is Wolf. She's a loner in the area, and she sucks. This is the cat that later killed Pipitpaw when he got close to her while she was defensive, and Tiny Flame did eventually realize that the scent he felt was familiar was because he smelled her when Lemonpaw had returned injured that day. While recovering, he was thinking about how awful kitty pet food must taste, as he was thinking about his parents as soon as he was healthy again, and was right back into a rigorous training session. Though he did ask Hazel Mouse for some help, he was named at 14 moons old and honored for his exemplar. And while out alone, he swore he would give his life to protect his clan as he charged past a huge dog to lead it away. It did grab him, but luckily it only tore his pelt, so he's not seriously injured and is just a bit scruffed up right now. Lemon Fox seems to have a habit of getting into trouble. Please be safe, my dude. Also, at one point, Lemonpaw said something that made Bumblebuzz worry that he was onto him, but it was just a misunderstanding from Bumblebuzz's paranoia. But into the apprentice den now. Starting with 12-moon-old insecure Riverpaw, who is constantly climbing, and he's been given a service bird from J-Clan to help him with his lack of smell and hearing. The crow simply being called Crowpaw. As a kid, he was annoying older cats and thought Ice Sash didn't like him. Cyndaquil was one of the cats to pick up early that he was having a hard time communicating, as M commented his tone was off. He did sneak out and got scolded, and then was too shy to go to the fresh kill pile. He was afraid others would think it was silly, and then he was apprenticed to Sneeze Stuff. He looked at the crystals thinking they were shining brighter and wondered if that was a sign his biological deceased parent was still watching over him. He failed to chase out a small dog on his first day out, but Crowpaw helped distract it at least. He was cowering in his nest during a storm, but not liking the rumbling he felt. He also wondered how good at swimming he was, probably since his mom Luckshine. He was sassy when signing in leopard spots about just wanting to catch the fresh and not be tested on how to do it, but he was immediately humbled when it spotted him. He was out hunting a rat with Rowan-Con Bumblebuzz when Daisy Billow found them and sadly delivered the news that his brother was found dead, which hurt. He still wanted to go on patrol though, and Fawnstar panicked when he got buried, Crowpaw helping guide to where he was. Riverpaw Paw is insecure but has a tendency to do what he wants and sometimes even ignores his service bird's advice, leading to incidents. Though Fawnstar has lectured him out of fear and love that he needs to be careful. As mentioned in Red Noise's section, he also seems to follow his mom's lead and challenge her to a fight, but luckily a clanmate stopped that. The next moon, he also did something that made Fawnstar happy. He does have a little bit of dislike for Fawnstar alongside his comfort and like, though. Rowancaw also trusted him with an important task, so this boy feels very special being the son of the leader, despite everything going wrong around him and having insecurities. Now onto the Ren moral kits. Starting with 9-moon-old shameless Shrewpaw, who is confident with words and interested in herbs. She was a fearless kit and wanted to pick a fight with an apprentice to show her skills. She was hoping to hear stories from Swansong and wanted to guard the nursery for Sister Spotted Kit. She was taking the biggest piece of fresh kill, seemingly to bring her dad, and she hasn't seemed to show an interest in being a medicine cat despite finding herbs cool. Daisy Billa did accidentally splash her as a kit, but Shrew Kit just laughed, and then Moral Nudge was asking her interesting questions about what role she wanted to be. Choosing Warrior, she got Luckshine as a mentor, and they went watching wolves, with Luckshine wisely leading them away when one of them started ambling towards them. She was on kit-sitting duty, but there was no kid, so I take that as babysitting duty with her litter mates. And then she pranked Sneeze Tuft. Hickory Frost was asking her an important question, asking how she felt about Hornet Clan's existence as a whole and the drama relating to it. Which Shrewpaw was pretty nonchalant, saying that she didn't really see the big deal. Shrewpaw is ending the year with a running nose that she may have caught from a sibling who has a worse condition right now. But next is confident Pop Paw, who is constantly climbing. She was a noisy kit and tried to force her way into guarding camp, and then got nipped on the rump for being naughty. She leapt into a pile of leaves that Red Noise gathered, and was pestering Ice Dash for a badger ride. She was guarding the fresh kill pile seriously, and then time flew as she complained while Moral Nudge groomed her before scurrying off to her new mentor, the young Hazel Mouse. She got a bit of a reality check when her first patrol they heard an abandoned kitty pet crying after their 2 legs, but Hazel Mouse told her helping outsiders was currently not allowed as she led her away. She got some gorse flowers from a former clanmate when she saw them across the border, and she was confident she'd be picked first for hunting patrol. She tried to bring up her possible StarClan dream to her mentor, but Hazel Mouse made an envious face, which made her dismiss it, seeing it was a touchy subject. Next is childish Spotted Paw, who is a lover of stories and quick-witted. Unfortunately, she currently has green cough. She also has Tourette syndrome, which is a disorder that causes unwanted movements or sounds, also known as tics. Spotted Paw tends to tick more when overly excited or stressed, or if she sees someone doing one of her tics, it may trigger it. Some examples for her personally is that she vocally chitters and can jerk her head. As a kid, she was wishing others would stop babying her, and she went to call a clan meeting thinking Red Noise was rude for interrupting her. She was excited for her apprentice ceremony and told Lemon Paw that she hoped that he was her mentor, with him twitching his whiskers in amusement knowing that he was still an apprentice himself. And then she got her mom as her mentor. Though she was annoyed when she failed to chase out a small dog that heard her chitter. Red Noise calmed her down from her annoyance, though. She got one of her siblings to play Moss Ball instead of finishing their duties, and then she chased a fly around, nearly crashing into Swansong. Shrewpaw was surprised her life wasn't as easy as she thought it was, and at the end of the year, she was relieved Ice Dash sided with her during an argument, as she was defending her brother who had always been kind, helping her as she fell behind in training. The last girl is Faithful Branchpaw, who is quick-witted and has an active imagination. She was a bossy kit and was worried Hazelpaw was overworking. She also guarded the fresh kill pile and tried to tell on Batpaw for his fun adventures, even though he was allowed to do that. That did inspire her and her brother to sneak out, and ended up running into Spinel and Maxstar, the 2 cats bringing them back, and the kids found the ordeal fun. She was pestering to play and then wanted to snuggle. Surprisingly, Red Noise had to coax her for her apprentice ceremony, and then she got sushi. She found orange poppies in the frost, and she wanted to ask if being friends with Spinel would be a bad thing, but knew that Hornet Clan was a very tense subject, so she asked about being friends with a kitty pet instead. Sushi tried to think of a response, but she hadn't really thought about it recently and dismissed the topic since outsiders are a tense subject right now. Then she had a nice chat with a supposed loner, which I'm pretty sure was Spinel again, and she's been training hard. She also stole a J-Clan rabbit with Sushi, but hey, her cousin Hairpaw did that too when she was still around. Also, this is the baby that Fawnstar said looked ugly when she was a newborn. Later, Branch Kid did insult Luckshine's looks and thought Clover didn't hear her. She went out of her way to help her mom Red Noise and thought Wishkeeper was pretty reliable. She wasn't afraid to ask Rainbow Flare difficult questions, and then she caught Fawnstar rolling her eyes when Branchpaw had asked for help. Moving into the Elder's Den, 138-moon-old Swansong finally retired. He did his best as deputy, with Hickory Frost motivating him to get out of his nest one morning, but he was greatly upset over how Fawnstar handled the Rowancaw situation, giving her some tough love advice, even though he knew by doing so he was robbing his son of an opportunity. After retiring, he worried he would be defenseless in battle and tried to breathe deeply to no avail. He He's been thinking Fawnstar could lead the clan better and was feeling restless. He stumbles over words, never quite able to get it right, and at least he has good company in the Elder's Den, as his good friend is here as well. Rainbow Flare retired and is now 124 moons old, and 106-moon-old Cyndaquil is not retired but spends M's nights in the Elder's Den with M's mate. Rainbow Flare was found and brought back with the help of Rowancaw and Crested, feeling extremely bad when Rowancaw ended up getting hurt and assuring her it was okay, as they didn't want to step up again anyway. StarClan had spoken when their lives were taken. They had to leave a kitty pet behind and worried Lemonpaw was overworking. Their last patrol before retiring was leading a hunting patrol with Downy Pelt and Hazelmouse in the snow, feeling a sense of security and competence at the great catches. They were worried about Moral Edge and Red Noise's son and had a breakdown of sorts when they were trying and failing to use their dream powers, appreciating Red Noise's supportive words. The two have a deep bond due to Rainbow Flare's constant night checks to see if she was in the dark forest, and Ospreyclaw knew that Rainbow Flare was the cat who needed to see Red Noise at the time. Rainbow Flare did chase a fly around and almost ran to Sneeze Stuffed, and then when Houndstat was kidnapped, they panicked, working hard to find her, and almost got lost again themselves. As for Cyndaquil, Cliff Creek tried to help Quill and Fawnstar, but it really didn't help much. Cyndaquil was posing a crazy fury to Hickory Frost, and then she was backing up one of M's claims in an argument later. Quill bolted back to camp to warn about a large dog, and then got Batpaw. On the moon that Rainbow Flare returned, M did M's best to set a good example for younger cats, to not get on Fawnstar's bad side. Cyndaquil was motivated by Rainbow Flare's big smile, and was purring for a long time at a lame joke. Quill briefly spraying Quill's paw and was on guard duty. M made sure to mark the new Hornet Clan border, and in general, Cyndaquil seems to feel complicated, especially regarding M's kids, but is happy that they seem to be doing okay despite their struggles. That doesn't stop Cyndaquil from worrying, though. Now, as for outside the clan cats, Ibis Fleck is still lost at 55 moons old and was hoping everyone was doing okay, including the kits. He dreamed of hunting for them, and while he did find Toadfreckle, he was devastated at his sister dying and not being able to help her. No matter how much the clan searched, we haven't been able to find him, but Hickory Frost's mate has listened to her worries and has set out to see if she can find him. If Ibis Fleck comes back, I will be flipping a coin and seeing if Rain joins with him, using the fact that she found him as her leverage to join the clan. So here's hoping. As for the kitty pets, Granite Newt is 113 moons old and seems to be doing well, wandering the neighborhood and getting the zoomies. He showed his belly to his housefolk, but it was a playful trap. I've decided the cat that someone remembers see with the dog is Granite Newt, and it's not a secret that he has returned to being a kitty pet. Wilbur, however, is 60 moons old and not doing as well, seemingly paranoid as she heard a noise that scared her back into her den and then saw warriors passing by. She was hunting for a gift for her housefolk, but then trying to escape from bath time. Now, as for the other clan sections, I've updated how we're doing this, and we're going to clump each clan section together. There's no speed paints for this section because it's kind of tough to set it up, but I hope you guys enjoy the art, so let's start with Moss Clan. Streakstar is still here and considered expanding the borders. She helped cats train and kept her head held high when a hissing patrol of Hornet Clan cats was seen, just marking the border and continuing, which they apparently respected. It increased relations. Halfway for the year, she declared war on Hornet Clan, spurred on by her clanmates, and Hornet Clan ended up taking some of her territory. While some injuries occurred, Streakstar saw Nookali and Turbo's kits and took them back to Hornet Clan camp despite the war. This, as well as some talks of Frecklestar, caused Moss Clan and Hornet Clan to end the war. She took on a new apprentice, Howlpaw, and then a Hornet Clan warrior asked to join the clan, curious about StarClan. Streakstar allowed it, and she almost lost a life when a predator raided the fresh kill and showed her apprentice some wolves. She ended the year with an important announcement that she wanted to ask the other clans to allow Hornet Clan to attend a gathering, and see if StarClan objects. Also, she has a crush on her deputy. Piper Arch is getting old, and he does like her back, but he's messy. He was having a serious conversation with a kitty pet and helping out his other crush, Model Iris. He warned J-Clan of a badger and guided a lost Viper Clan apprentice home. He thought he had a strange StarClan dream and tried to talk to Model Iris about it, but she coldly told him to figure out his own dreams. The next moon, though, he was having Chasing Zoom back him up in a lie, so I wonder if that dream might have been made up, and he is very against Hornet Clan while Streakstar seems to be accepting a peace for now. At the end of the year, he reluctantly told the other clans of Streakstar wanting to invite Hornet Clan to a gathering, but they are still hesitant for obvious reasons. He also took the ex-Hornet Clan warrior out to hunt, assessing them, and it went well. As for the medicine cats, Model Iris is pretty hot and cold with Piper Arch. These two are a mess. She's been getting cats constantly telling her of dreams, Trickleblotch getting one of old rendezvous, Piper Arch and Chasing Zoom trying to tell her of one, and she herself had a vision of soft noises of kits nursing. She's been thinking about her life choices and caught Tin Willow when he slipped on ice. There's a lot of dreams currently, and not all seem to be the most reliable to her. Alpheus has mostly been staying in his own lane gathering herbs, though he did comment to Streakstar that it's ironic that you have to risk sprains to get the treat sprains and that elder leaves are for elder cats. He's cautious and did his best to console his clanmates and daughter after his daughter Friskpaw was washed away in a flood. He shared a tale of the long dawn and great moonrise where cats staggered for the cold looking for a new home, and with StarClan's guidance, they saved many lives. Tulippaw told him of a vision of a secret that can never be revealed, and near silent paw steps, and Alpheus couldn't make sense of it. Likely because I kind of think that was meant for GalaxyClan and that was about Bumble Spinel, but who knows, maybe it's about Sharp Daisy. Tin Willow was this close to murdering his clanmate Peachy, who was being obnoxious on patrol, and wished it was easier for him to talk to his clanmates. His mate Stormywing has now gone completely blind, and he later had free kits of him. He's given a prophecy from Tempest Freckle that I tried to get clues on, but have not really been able to figure it out. And he's been doing his best getting support from his mate, though he does have his prickly moments of pushing apprentices around. He was thrilled at Model Iris helping him when he slipped, even with their past clashing. In the Mediator Den, both Bubbling Mark and Shard Ember have passed, the latter being from old age, but Ashleep is still here as the sole mediator. She tried to discuss herb gathering disputes with Hornet Clan, but unknowingly did it with the two cats that had been greatly affected by illness in the past, Spinel and at the time Twilight Paw, who hissed at her, though Twilight Fur was the cat that ended up joining later. She has been very busy mediating and has no sign of slowing down as the only mediator now. I hope she gets an apprentice next year, and she continues to be a sweet cat. As for Melkir, she is 74 moons old and got an apprentice Oleander Paw. She briefly got Frostbite, but still tried to set a good example for younger cats, including taking her apprentice out on patrols with her mate Wheatheart and his apprentice. She got her sister Leopard Spots to surrogate and named her free kits after her and her mate's dead siblings. 2 out of 3 were actually generated in-game, and my heart. She had Chestnut Kit, Flicker Kit, and Light Kit. 2 girls and 1 boy. Her apprentice was named Oleander Caw, and another warrior, Leaf Cave, told Melkir of a possible vision while they talked about it. She's been supporting her mate as Wheatheart is very empathetic and grieved 2 clanmates this year, including Bubbling Mark. I love this family, but now moving on to J-Clan. Starting with Wastar, J-Clan suffered a badger attack first thing, and Wastar had to think about what to say at a gathering. Raven told Wastar of a dream she had, though she's pretty suspicious. He showed his apprentice how hummingbirds use eagle nests to hide their own tiny nest, and his mate slipped on, completely lost her hearing. He grieved Pepper Patch, though didn't feel right joining his vigil, and he rolled his eyes at cats suggesting still sharing with Hornet Clan. A warrior Garlic told Hornet Clan Patrol twice to look elsewhere for more prey on land that was unclaimed, and after Thunder was found dead, he was accidentally trespassing in Viper Clan while investigating. Unfortunately, his apprentice drowned shortly after being made a warrior, a death that seems to get all the youth that Wastar is close to. He did have a snappy patrol with his mate, but everyone has bad days. He checked the GalaxyClan border at the end of the year, checking on family. Hornet Clan wise, J-Clan never went to war, but a J-Clan cat hiding in a tree tried to warn a young warrior of a dog, only for the Hornet Clan cat to be killed, which affected Hornet Clan as a whole. The J-Clan warrior Eckerstone sent Otterpaw back to Hornet Clan nearly in tears, and at the end of the year, the young warrior Rhinegrass trespassed and got killed by Frozen Shadow and Glade Streak. J-Clan, however, also has quite a few ex-Hornet Clan in their ranks, including Oliver, Moral Nudge's sister. They were mostly part-time Hornet Clan cats, and Wastar mostly cares if they are currently loyal to J-Clan. Air Dancer is still deputy, and she got a new mate, Calamari, while still recovering from her broken bone. Once healed, she carefully crossed a river to mark the border, and her new mate seems to help her relax with them stretching and resting on patrols, and sometimes getting no training done, but he gives her the time to rest during her hectic deputy days. Then she announced she was expecting kids, and she's a mom of 2 now, though she grumbled when Medicine Cats urged her to go to the nursery right away, and was a little worried that others were judging her. However, she's been charging forward, eager and unafraid in life. Medicine Cat-wise, Timmy had a nightmare about the rushing river, and considering how many J-Clan cats later would lose their life to that, checks out. They encourage Vervainclaw that every cat has a role to play, and StarClan means even death isn't the end. They got Sparklemore as a mate and offered comfort when he was overworking, later having nice herb discussions. Timmy is only cute and nice with their mate, I swear. They tossed a snake out of camp before it could bite anyone, and apparently is not afraid of anything. At the end of the year, they found 5 kits and a dead queen, bringing the children to J-Clan to be community raised, though they did briefly consider adopting them. They've also been talking to cats regarding visions, including Mantis Breeze, who had asked about one. Mantis Breeze spent a long time grooming their brother Tree Holly for their vigil after they were killed by badgers, and he decided he's happy he chose life as a medicine cat, gathering herbs and materials. He thought of changing his name to be more kitty pet-like, and seems cheerful. He says he's been waiting for the right cat to show interest when Timmy brought up apprentices, and then Mantis Breeze got Twig Bark as a mate. He's a silly cat, but also seems to be sleeping in the middle of camp. He did teach Oliver more about the nature of StarClan, and then got attacked by rats on the fresh kill pile. But he's proud of his ability to care for his clanmates. Wild Beam is also here, and she was reevaluating her morals shortly before seeing a kitty pet that possibly was her other mom, Eli, rolling around. She chased Stoneshell off the territory and was checking on warriors. She also had a cute day of her brother, Barkstorm, racing for the territory and gathering herbs. She did disappear for a few days and came back with a collar, possibly accidentally getting yoinked while visiting her mom. She gave herbs to a loner, and when she tried to comment on her mate overworking, Larkstarf snapped that she was totally fine. Wildbeam wants nothing more than to live by the warrior code, and after conversing with StarClan Cat, she taught Slipdawn more about StarClan. Mediator-wise, Calypso was wondering about his old kitty pat friends and mediated Magpie Freckle with her apprentice Siltpaw a ton. He giggled about clan drama and later went to resolve a border dispute with Viper Clan, but caught White Cough. Once recovered, he leapt in the fallen leaves, and he seems like a nice guy, not holding a grudge when someone snapped at him. Magpie Freckle was having some issues with her apprentice and felt dread. She's been dismayed about how quickly her clanmates get into arguments and thinking about her life choices. She negotiated an herb trade with another clan and got Waspar annoyed with the Elder Raven, who's suspicious, when she was bored. She accidentally failed mediating Stepdusk and Waspar, making it worse, though later she basically went, why not, and seemed to sabotage them on purpose. She also suggested sharing prey with Hornet Clan and accidentally made Moss Clan more upset on hunting disputes. Next up is the newly named Silttooth. She was practicing the warrior code from memory and wanted her training over already. She played a prank on Wildbeam when mediating her with Mantis Breeze, possibly tricking her into admitting something. She got her full name on the same moon that both her littermates were washed away in a flood, and she couldn't stop coming to tears when they were mentioned. She's been trying to help her two clanmates that hate each other get along, and she's doing her best. Viper Clan still has Frecklestar, and they immediately declared war on Hornet Clan this year, killing the rogue Oleander and injuring Turbo. He lost a life when he was attacked and killed by a badger, and he wailed at Berry Chase's vigil after Yellowcough killed him, never knowing that he was a killer that actually hated him. He's been promising to take care of the clan with his lives, and warriors died in a battle against Hornet Clan, and others were injured. Though on that same moon, Frecklestar let Stoneshell defect to Viper Clan with her two apprentice-age kids. He scolded his daughter for acting alone, taunting Hornet Clan, and was hanging out with Stoneshell as he evaluated her loyalty. Listening to what she had to say about Hornet Clan after the spirits of Ochreforn and Gardenia Fluff actually faded in a battle against Butterfly Paw's group. Frecklestar took Stoneshell's idea as Butterfly's group already didn't like Hornet Clan, and she told Maxstar that they would have a truce if she helped him in a raid against Butterfly Paw's group. Which they did, and Frecklestar succeeded in blinding Butterfly Paw completely. He caught Yellowcough after, but at least that was settled. Mothjoy is still the deputy, and he was daring his mate to hunt by the two-leg dens and spending adventures with him as they waited out a small dog. During the war, he was mentally preparing for leadership in case the worst happened, and did his best to help explain tracking the Lynx Paw. Then he had two kits with Bonefade and confronted a trespassing Hornet Clan cat. He was wondering what Hawthornshay was up to on the moon she got killed, and he's been doing his best, really hoping for a Moth Star, please. Medicine Cat-wise, Swamp Hopper was swept away and died, so Gullheart is the head Medicine Cat. His son Mordrim's leg was permanently weakened, but he recovered, and Gullheart was proud of his ability to care for his clanmates. His son did end up with a broken back when he swore Stoneshell pushed him, but there's no evidence, so Gullheart's been doing his best to save him despite infection. Spirodance was asking about recent prophecies, but he laughed it off. Being stressed with the loss of Swamp Hopper, Gullheart picked a kit as his apprentice and was worried others were judging him. His new apprentice being Firepaw, who doesn't seem to want to be a medicine cat, and I'm going to be honest, we're probably going to swap her career with an upcoming kit that has an interest in herbs. She's a daughter of Gustream and Euroreed, and seemed to be too nervous to object when Gullheart picked her as a medicine cat, unsure if this was what she really wanted to do. She walked right past time when out to collect it, and had to be taught what to look for. Mediator den-wise, Gorsclair lost Berry Chase to Yellowcough, never finding out about his dark side, breaking down at the loss. He became mates with Swamp Hopper during his grief, and then was thinking about his life choices. They broke up, but seemed to stay close, understanding that it wasn't meant for them. Though Gorsclair did encourage his ex to try dating his sister Treefang instead. He was eavesdropping on the dead Tuffquill somehow, and he was trying to get to know a new mediator better, and accidentally made J-Clan upset. He doesn't trust Stoneshell and was stirring up some drama, and he grieved Swamp Hopper's death, unable to leave his nest. Though he does have mediation help because Cliff Creek joined. Back in GalaxyClan, he tried to mediate Fawnstar and Cyndaquil and was worried about Scaleheart overworking, but after Berry Chase died in Viper Clan, he joined both to help with mediation as well as to be with his mate Cobalt Field. Some cats side-eyed him wanting to prove himself, so despite being a mediator, he did go catch a snake and get his tongue split, as well as helping out on a couple patrols. He was injured in a battle against Hornet Clan and seemed to convince his sister to join with her kids. He was kind of hoping for a scar, perhaps thinking Cobalt Field would think it would look cool, and he did end up getting one. He stole a J-Clan rabbit with his mate, seemingly being a bit more mischievous with him, and then he got attacked by a fox, so imagine he's injured and I'll edit him if it scars. But as mentioned, Stoneshell joined with her kits. She was nervous in Hornet Clan as she watched War Rage, and her son was apprenticed to Maxstar getting heat exhaustion, and her daughter got bit by a small dog after being apprenticed to Basil. This, combined with Cliff Creek being injured in battle, encouraged her to leave. And her kits were eventually named Full Warriors, Whisper Swoop and Shatterblaze. Mordrim accused her of pushing him, but she denies it anxiously. Also worrying about food, having insecurity over it. She ignored gossip about her past and talked to Frecklestar about her knowledge of the Dark Forest, revealing that technically it's because her and Hornet Clan that Butterfly Paw had been weakened in the first place. And with her influence, she convinced her mom and Maxstar, who liked her before she left, to help out with the raid. Outerstripe excited for a battle. She, however, seems to be possibly targeted by some of her ex-clanmates, falling into a pit that might have been from them. Hoping she does well and that her and Cliff Creek can get along. Cyndaquil is both anxious for their safety, but relieved that they are together now at least. And last up in Viper Clan is Sparrow Dance. She chased off a small dog and was disrupted by the war. She and Broodtooth intimidated a Hornet Clan cat to leave the territory, and they also hunted near the two-leg dens, later eating some kibble, loudly declaring that fresh kill was superior, but enjoying the frill. Sparrow Dance can have a bit of a rude streak when not with her mate, telling Gusstream to get himself out of the hole that he got stuck in. But then she saw the ghost of Robin Patch at the border. She was missing her dad and then chased out a large dog and picked herself carefully out of a sinkhole, which was wild because the next moon she had free kits. She missed her brother and thought that she had a vision from StarClan. Then after the war ended, she and Birdtooth adopted 2 more kits into the family after her dad's spirit guided them to the dead parent. So she has a big blended family of 5 kits right now, and they're adorable. This had her ask Gullheart more about StarClan, and she ended the year confronting a trespasser with a patrol of parents. Now as for Hornet Clan, the newcomers in this section, Maxstar has had a year. She got frostbite on her foot and found a flower to wear. She has been at war with 3 out of 4 of the neighbors, and she lost warriors while others were badly hurt. Her former apprentice was killed by a dog when following J-Clan scent. One of her kids has a broken bone from another dog attack. Another kid has a broken bone from falling off a cliff. Her daughter Leapglade died from being buried on patrol. Her brother Dart was killed in the Butterfly Paw raid, and she had a heart attack, losing a life after. Her niece was killed by J-Clan after she trespassed, not to mention her deputy left. The original replacement was her brother, who then died. Maxstar is kind of spiraling. She was taken aback by kindness when Mossclan returned Turbo's kits, which inspired her to do the same when bringing back GalaxyClan's kits. Her clan has yet to go to a gathering, though she is starting to learn some more about being an actual clan, understanding that her loose warriors need to be controlled, and it may be time to cut off some of the cats that aren't fully into the clan. The youth of the clan really struggled this year, and I think she wants to at least try to make things better. Considering her new deputy is the very young Saffron Flame, he's compassionate and also a good fighter, and he was the deputy that Rowan was venting with at the end of the year. He was mentored by Turbo and honored for his sincerity. He was quickly given one of Maxstar's kits, Otterpaw, as an apprentice, but she seemed to sneak off, often getting in trouble. He did his best, though, and stood proud as she got her name, and was given another apprentice, Palepaw, the daughter of his former mentor, Turbo. I'm hoping with this deputy choice, Maxstar is at least considering more peaceful solutions in the future. As for medicine cats, Cherubi Branch is the head one, and she's kind of really mean. She currently has a snake bite, and it'll be shown if it scars next year, but earlier in the year, she got attacked by bees alongside one of Maxstar's kids, and she stared coldly at her fellow medicine cat when she brought up possibly getting a StarClan vision, bluntly telling her they don't get those. She got a new apprentice after that and feels a new rule should be added to their code. And here's Scaleplume, who is actually a dream shaper right away. Once her powers were fully realized, she basically got demoted from Medicine Cat to be given a job. That job being to mess with the other clan's cat's dreams, to try to trick them into believing false prophecies from StarClan that Hornet Clan should be welcomed and helped with land. She's exhausted, dream shaping is tiring, and she hasn't been seeing much of Hazelmouse, who she used to pop into the dreams of. Scaleplume thought she had a vision herself, but was shot down immediately, so maybe StarClan really is reaching out to her. One of her siblings was killed by a dog, another one ended up joining Moss Clan, and one is deputy, so she's kind of going through it. She feels very tired and isolated. But the newest medicine cat apprentice is 9-moon-old Ghostpaw, the kit of Bumblebuzz and Spinel. He was able to meet his dad eventually and was excited, though Spinel told him he had to be careful. He was interested in herbs ever since his kithood when he grew up on stories about his older brother Spindlefox that he never met, and was excited to be a medicine cat. He ran into Wishkeeper on the border and asked to join the clan, but his grandpa told him sadly how he would not be welcomed most likely. Spinel then urged him to stay in camp as it was dangerous and covered his more noticeably Bumblebuzz trait being his bangs. Cherubi Branch is proud of how he doesn't complain and does work skillfully, and he was who found Wishkeeper washed up, taking the bow from his grandfather. As for Spinel, he is so messy. I already went over most of it with Bumblebuzz and him hissing at Ashley when she tried negotiating herbs. He seems to be trying to kill Stoneshell as well, since he never liked her and is annoyed that even after leaving, it seems she still can get the leadership to do things. He's protective of his kit and has a new apprentice, and Maxstar doesn't really seem to care that Spinel had a half-clan kit, as long as it doesn't bring even more drama. Basil's apprentice Curlpaw got attacked by Fawnstar when she was seen eating a rabbit with Hickory Frost, and she was going to get another apprentice being Shatterpaw, but then she left the clan after getting bit by a small dog. She was keeping the injured cats company and was quietly listening to someone talk about something while thinking how wrong they were and dying inside. Now finally, here's 9-moon-old ambitious Conepaw, who is a picky nest builder and an avid play fighter, Moral Nudge and Red Noise's son. He joined Hornet Clan! But going in order of events, he was born as a self-conscious kit and was more prone to heat stroke. He couldn't get anything done with the heat and was pestering Cyndaquil for a badger ride. He's been worried about making mistakes and snuck out of camp following his rowdier sister Branch kit, where he met Maxstar and Spinel. He grew up hearing rumors and bad talk over his dad's involvement with Hornet Clan, but they seemed nice to him. He wondered if this was the right path for him as he touched noses with Moral Nudge, and then on his first day he witnessed the J-Clan warrior Hawthorne Shade get killed by a dog. He almost got lost near Two Leg Nest where he and Branchpaw met up with Spinel, and he watched the stars with Bumblebuzz getting close to the warrior and finding out about Ghost Kit. He asked Moral Nudge how to talk to cats from other clans, but panicked thinking he might get suspicious and backtracked making fun of those cats so his dad wouldn't get too suspicious of his curiosity. Blood warning for a picture in 3, 2, 1. Then went out with Bumblebuzz and Spinel. Eelmask caught them, and as things got heated, he killed Eelmask, standing horrified of going back to camp and begging Spinel to take him to Hornet Clan. Picture is gone now. Eelmask was killed on the same day that Wishkeeper drowned, and his body was placed in the current. GalaxyClan can tell something tore his neck, but there's no scent left. Conepaw left without a word, causing more tension when they eventually found out where he went, but Branchpaw has tried to defend him, saying, "Who cares if he joined Hornet Clan? They're a clan like everyone else. They don't seem all that bad." And Hornet Clan cats have joined other clans too. Maybe it's okay that cats are just swapping clans recently. He should be allowed if he likes it there. Moral Nudge feels like he never fully knew his son and is sad that he left without even saying goodbye. His mentor is now Spinel. And that is year 29 of GalaxyClan. Oh boy, that was a lot of drama. I hope you guys are okay with the switch of how I'm doing the other clan sections. It was getting very crowded. And sorry you had to wait until literally the end of the video to see the last Red Noise and Moral Nudge kid and find out who killed Eelmask. I have a lot of fixing to do in the code because somehow everyone aged 2 moons younger and someone who died next year revived while their history tab still says how they died, and someone poofed from existence in the code entirely, so I gotta fix that. Like I said, the game has been glitchy. I have backups now. Wish me luck that it's better. Fawnstar could have made a better first proper year as leader, going to be honest. She's pretty concerning and I hope she chills out. I'm interested if Hornet Clan will actually do better next year. I'm hoping we don't have a kitten boom. Speaking of kittens, for people invested in the side streams, there's a kitten named Splinter Kit that was adopted into J-Clan after being found abandoned, and that kit's parents are Slate Claw of Viper Clan and Wolf, that loner on the side that attacked and then killed Pipit Paw. Wolf being the one that abandoned the kit on J-Clan territory, so when I said Wolf sucks, Wolf really does suck. I'm so interested in the Fawnstar and Roanclaw leadership dynamic, and I'm happy GalaxyClan has elders again. And not only elders, but clan-born ones. We rarely get cats grow up and be able to retire in this clan. With all that said, this video was so long, I hope you enjoyed it. Check out my links below, and I'll see you next time. Peace!